Nearly 30% of all the territory that has been retaken from ISIS, about 20,000 square kilometers, has actually happened in the last 6 months. As you know, the campaign against Mosul is now finished, and in Raqqa, which I'll talk to in more detail, about 45% of Raqqa is now cleared. Today in Raqqa, ISIS is fighting for every last block and trying to defend blocks that they are about to lose. They are fighting for their own survival. If you think about really two phases in Syria, right now, this is phase one. We want to defeat ISIS. We have to defeat ISIS because ISIS is trying to plan major attacks against us and our partners, as I mentioned, and they're still trying to do that. So long as ISIS is holding territory, pretending to hold this caliphate with people under its domain, the long-term political settlement in Syria goes increasingly out of reach. And our first priority is to protect our homeland. Defeat ISIS, get de-escalation arrangements in place, quiet down the overall situation, which sets the conditions for an ultimate political solution, political settlement of the civil war. And at the end of that process, and we can't put a timeline on it, but at the end of that process, we do not envision Bashar al-Assad being in control of Syria from Damascus. Whether that is through a constitutional process or an election or some combination, that is very important. It's just reality. Syria, by World Bank estimates, about more than $200 billion to reconstruct Syria. Is probably many multiples of that. And the international community is not going to come to the aid of Syria until there is a credible political horizon that can lead to a credible transition in Damascus. We estimate there's about 1,000 ISIS fighters or so in Tel Afar among 20 to 40,000 civilians. So somewhat similar to Raqqa, a little bit smaller, but it'll be very difficult. This has been a hub for ISIS for 3 years. It has been the home for many of their leaders. It has been a place where terrible atrocities were committed against not only Sunni Muslims, Shia Muslims, Yazidis, in this terrible fulcrum of ISIS atrocities.